Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Save Report. I'm your host, Evan Decker, and joining me, my host companion, it's Sejan Sarowick. How you doing, Sejan?
I got the notebook leavings everywhere all over my desk.
See, that's why you never pull out notebook leavings. Actually, that's why I use composition books, because if you rip out a composition book page, you're fucked. Literally, that's their whole slogan. The slogan for composition books is, you rip out a page, you fucked.
It's the year 2024. Why are we still making notebooks that are held together with twine? And, like, I get it if it's, like, a high-end, I spent a lot of money on this because it has this particular weight and feel and everything that I need. Like, if you're that into paper and you want that, you should have that choice. The fact that that is a standard notebook that we still make children, famously, who don't take care of their shit, give them notebooks that are held together with literal string and just say, hope you can hold on to your notes to the end of the year.
This cost me 29 cents, the composition book that I was referring to. It's college ruled, too. How's that for a fucking thing, huh? Hey, kids, here's a book that's held together with string, and it's ruled for college. Hope you like little loins.
I was going to say, hope you're right, real tiny. Oh, man.
Jiminy
We are not good to our children in the education system.
No,
anyway,
no,
Devin,
we're not.
So,
Before we go much further, our last episode was Do the Rainbow, where we tried out all the Mountain Dews. And in the interim, I was able to track down the Speedway and 7-Eleven limited edition summer flavor Infinite Swirl. Sejan, do you think maybe I should take a little swig of wig and we can add this one to the tier list?
Jeez, okay. You know, there's this deep-seated part of me that really wants us to just completely convert to like a Mountain Dew taste testing podcast.
Well,
we are now well on our way with 2 episodes, so let's do it.
You are not alone in that, but that's a conversation for another time. That's a conversation for a little bit later. So we're going to start it off. The Infinite Swirl is a blast of artificial pineapple berry flavor. Pineapple berry, my favorite of the berries. What does it do in Pokemon? Can you look up what a Pinap berry does in Pokemon while I take this sip?
I'm doing Pokemon research.
I want to know what the Pinap berry does.
What have we become?
You find what the Pinap berry does. Once you have that information, while I'm sipping, that's how you can vamp, is by telling people what it does. I think it cures paralysis, but I'm not 100% sure.
Now wait, what? But is this supposed to be based on this like pineapple nonsense that you're drinking, or why am I looking up?
Well, because it's the only other example I could think of in culture, not just popular culture, but all culture, where pineapple is referred to as a berry. The fact that this is a blast of artificial pineapple berry flavors in the Mountain Dew Infinite Swirl, it's got a little logo, right? It's a
we're
pineapple.
Not like saying pineapple. Wait, you have to catch me up. We're not saying pineapple, comma berry or pineapple / berry. Like this is the pineapple berry, the berry of the pineapple
blast
tree.
Of artificial
the
pineapple berry flavor.
Okay.
So that's why
peanut berries, by the way, are the worst candy you could probably have. All they do is double the amount of candy you get the next time you succeed.
Wait, but that's got to be in like Pokemon Go, right?
Yeah, why? Like, sorry, are they somewhere else?
So I believe berries were introduced in Gen 2. So I'd want to know what it does in like Silver and Gold. Or if it's not Gen 2, then it's Gen 3, so Ruby Sapphire.
I gotta be honest, I'm just finding a bunch about Pokemon Go.
Well, yeah, that's because digging. Like that's the thing. I don't know. I want to take the sip. I already cracked it open. So let me take a sip. You vamp while I sip. I'm drinking now.
It was introduced in Generation 3. Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are really the big places where apparently it shows up. Has very little variance, so it's just a silver and a gold. Pokemon Go, it cannot be used directly and can only be used as an ingredient in anything except Pokemon Go, where it can be used. So it does nothing. It does nothing in the main games. It can only be used in Pokemon Go to get more candy.
But Willie the Hillbilly, beloved retired mascot of Mountain Dew, is like, I'm going to push it in my summer soda. Which, by the way, did you know that Speedway was either acquired by 7-Eleven? I think 7-Eleven bought Speedway, which is crazy because they used to be
7-Eleven has like almost 10,000 locations in this country. I think Speedway was lucky if they broke 1,000. It's like 7-Eleven sneezes and Speedway is just like, we should be so lucky.
But they do own it, so that's why it's a weird collaboration between those two, because every Speedway is a 7-Eleven now, but not all 7-Elevens are Speedways, or something ridiculous like that. This Infinite Swirl is really, really good.
Jeff, I got something for you, by the way.
That
Pinat Berry apparently was really important in Arceus, which might explain why you were aware of it.
Oh, right.
Apparently that's one of the only places where it did anything in terms of health effects.
What does it do in Arceus?
1/3 of maximum HP is restored.
Wow, that's good. I would say that I was already at full HP, but I'd like to believe, like in the Japanese version of the Simpsons arcade game, I got an additional third of my health as, like, extra stuff. Because that's a deep cut video game reference. And I want everyone to know that we're going to get back to the deep cut video game references, but now that we've tried the Infinite Swirl, whatever the A rank is, it's not S rank, it's definitely A rank. So I think it's great. It's been so long since we've recorded that Mountain Dew episode. I'm not sure of the adjectives that they use.
No,
for
but I
each
think
tier.
I think it's fair to say A rank. It's not S rank. I think people will get the gist. Okay.
Yeah, it's very good. It's a nice, strong flavor. It's a good summer flavor. Kind of tastes like the beach. To be just that guy, right? Don't let Cosmo know.
I'm not easily impressed by a pineapple flavor, so I'll have to try it myself and see. Because
it's the berry that really makes you go, I'm not gonna lie. But yes, so video game references and all that fun stuff. The apologies are coming now. We're starting off this episode talking about politics, and here's the dealio. This is going to start right at the 7-minute mark, and Siege and I have decided that we're going to limit ourselves to 15 minutes on this topic. So you're in the politics section. If you're not interested in politics, jump forward to 22 minutes and we'll drop our theme song again, because it's going to be like a whole new episode. But there's been some political goings-on since Siege and I recorded our last episode. That's not true. Our last episode we recorded was the Spider-Man 2 episode, which was really just an awful episode to record. I'm sad at how that film aged, but you can go listen to it if you want to hear our very special episode talking about Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2. But this is the first proper episode that we're recording since some big political things have happened. Namely, the first debate between current President Joseph Biden and challenger from the Republican Party, former President Donald Trump. And that was a night, is the best way that I can put it. Siegen, did you watch any of the debate? Or
not all of it. No, not. I would not say I watched the debate. I have seen enough of the debate since the debate, and on the night was watching it casually, like tuning in every couple of minutes just to be like, and then moving back to whatever I was watching. Probably Delicious in Dungeon. I've been watching a ton of that lately. But like, no, I would not say I watched the debate. To be.
That's fine. I tried to watch the debate, and then my heart hurt, so I left and listened to it. I could not watch it anymore. It was what I was listening to as I was playing like old retro games in the dining room.
The old Nixon Kennedy conundrum.
Yes, right? Which, can we talk about the fact that like that's still where we go when there's a poorly like received televised debate? Do you think that this debate, this is not related to anything I want to talk about, but it's a question, right, in with the Say Report. Do you think that this debate will be the new Nixon-Kennedy debate?
No,
going
because
forward
famously,
in political
like,
science?
the big thing about the Nixon-Kennedy debate that really is the kind of the point of the reference is, like, how one-sided your opinion on the thing was depending on how you consumed it, right? Like,
yes.
Being one of the first televised debates, there is the conversation of anyone who listened to it on the radio thought Nixon won, but anybody who watched it thought Kennedy had. And unfortunately, at that era, more people had watched.
In that era.
More people had watched it than listened to it, right? So there was this idea, this groundswell, and you know, I don't think that this gets to that level. I think at the end of the day, both of these men performed exactly how anybody who knows anything about, like, has been paying attention, performed exactly like they expected them to. Like, we learned nothing new, nothing was gained.
There were no winners, there were only losers, right?
Well,
it doesn't matter how you consumed
this
it.
Idea, one of the reasons that I do watch debates, and I do watch some, but I will be honest again, I do not consume every debate that comes out, because you can tell beforehand if this is going to be one where like you're going to gain any new knowledge about a candidate, which is important in an election year. But if you know you're not going to gain any new, don't wait. Like, what is and this was obvious from the get go that I was like, there's no way I'm going to learn anything on this unless all of a sudden Joe Biden drops a bag of evidence that Donald J. Trump murdered somebody. Like, I got not, like, there's nothing is going to change about this after this. I'm not going to hear any new policies. Nobody's going to ask any question that hasn't been asked yet, that kind of shit, you know? And so, you know, I did not feel the need to watch this one and don't feel that it will go down as one of the worst ones ever because I just think it was just kind of meh. I know a lot of people want to act like it somehow was a travesty, but I don't even think it was exciting enough to merit that.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing because everybody's like, I don't know. The worst part about the debate was the reaction that like we need to replace Joseph Biden as the Democratic candidate for presidency. Now, as much as I have my own issues with Joseph Biden and his presidency, I am vehemently anti-Trump. I will say that right here. I have no problem saying that I do not like Donald Trump. I will never vote for him. But at the same time, being a realist, right? Joseph Biden, he's also got some skeletons in his closet. And like literally, I'm going to use the term skeletons in his closet. That's not a euphemism. Yeah. There's some stuff going on there. Joseph Biden can be responsible for the Cartoon All-Stars team up to the rescue as much as he wants to be. That's not enough for me to ignore that he has kept some things that were like atrocities committed during the Trump presidency. Those are still going on. So, you know,
well, and again, like there was shit throughout the Biden presidency in terms of drone usage and the Afghan war and like all sorts of stuff that there are legitimate things that should be questioned and asked about that era that we have not been able to because of everything that went on with Trump for 4 years and now having basically the guy that was right there next to Obama the whole time making those decisions being in charge. Like we have not been able to reflect back on that era I think in a healthy way yet, right? And like that's not good because we need to start kind of learning from those mistakes before we keep fucking making them. But anyway,
no, that's a very cogent, intelligent thing. But the idea that we're going to replace midstream the Democratic nominee for president, I just feel like that's kind of signing the death warrant.
Are we? Yeah. Has nobody been paying attention to these states that have wanted to not let Joe Biden be on the ballot because he wasn't signing paperwork fast enough?
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine those states being okay with somebody else coming into the conversation 2 months later?
Yeah. Like granted, they haven't had the Democratic National Convention yet, so they don't have the official candidate. But, you know, it's always the current president who tends to run again. I think only one time it wasn't, right?
The key thing in those specific states where that was going on is what they have done in some of them. I won't say this because I don't know if this is true for all, but I know this is what was proposed in some of them, was that basically they would fill out pre-paperwork that said, look, this is going to be the guy. We know this is going to be the guy. The convention is just, like, they basically openly admitted, said out loud the quiet part of, like, the convention is just for show. We know this is going to be the guy. As long as we sign paperwork saying that now, will you let us be on the ballot? Like, that was...
Yeah. No, that, I don't know. It's been a whole thing. And then, if the debate wasn't enough to get, like, all the political people talking, there's the fact that about a week later, the Supreme Court decided on the whole, will Donald Trump be held accountable for inciting an insurrection on January 6, 2021? Mm-hmm. And their solution was unique, in terms of, like, well, unofficial acts performed by the president, those could definitely be prosecuted, right? You definitely broke the law because you didn't do it as the president. But if you do it as officially an act as the president of the United States of America, congratulations, this is your get out of jail free card.
It's like, how do you make it an official act? Like, you just like, I'm the president. Look, it's like I'm going and committing presidents again.
Well,
like,
I really, you know,
the official acts I'm doing as president.
The fact is that you and I aren't sure how to do that leads me to believe that that's the only reason why Joseph Biden has not taken this gift that he was handed by the Supreme Court and taken full advantage of it.
Well, all jokes aside about that, right? Like, I know there's been a lot of SEAL Team 6 memes going around since this decision was put out there, right? Like, that kind of shit. Like, I love the jokes. I'm not knocking the jokes. there is a truth to those jokes that makes me uncomfortable, right? There is a level at which you need to understand that there has to be, like, the world only works if this is true. There has to be at least one person, if not a team of people in the Biden White House trying to figure out what to do with this information now, right? Like, there has to be somebody there being like, well, if this is what we can do, then here's my proposal, right? There has to be some Bradley Whitford looking motherfucker who's handing him a big old binder full of paperwork, who's just like, this is what we planned on this. We've talked about this for months. This is what we propose you do now that you have these abilities, right? And like, I'm not saying that is take out your political enemies or any of that crazy ass bullshit, but it is something like student loan forgiveness now. Maybe we have a path to that, or, you know, like we're solidifying parts of the ACA that are still up in the air 15 years later. like shit like that. Like there has to be somebody doing and figuring that shit out right now, right?
As you mentioned Bradley Whitford, I do feel I have to pause for one moment to make sure that people understand we mean a Josh Lyman from The West Wing Bradley Whitford and not an Eric Gordon from Billy Madison Bradley Whitford.
No, that's in the trunk.
Because
sorry.
Inside of you, there are two Bradley Whitfords, and one of them is Josh Lyman from The West Wing. One of them is Eric Gordon from Billy Madison.
Hopefully neither of them is from Get Out, right? He was the one.
Yes, he's also in Get Out. We're not going to look into Bradley Whitford. That's not what this is about. But yeah, no, and all the SEAL Team 6 memes and that aside, I'm not advocating for the murder of anybody, right? But officially as the president, based upon his actions, couldn't he declare him a terrorist and then maybe send him to Guantanamo Bay? Like we've done with so many other suspected terrorists?
The thing to remember is that this is going to sound super fucking hollow in 2024, right? When I say this, there are systems in place that do mean that certain steps would have to be taken. And so what I'm saying is not that it can't happen, but that I feel like we won't be as blindsided. I think the big thing that people have really forgotten over the last 8 years, and what keeps people surprised every time something crazy happens between either of these, the camps, right? Is everybody keeps expecting it to be a slap in the face, out of nowhere, oh my god, explosive thing that is going to just surprise everybody. And what's happening is everything is a fucking glacier. Moving at the slowest pace. It's literally that scene from Austin Powers where we see the steamroller coming at us and we're just standing there screaming, not doing anything about it, and then we're surprised when it murders us, right? Like it's gonna be more that. I don't think it's going to be this sudden just reveal of him doing this or some sudden reveal of somebody else doing that. Like we're gonna see the pieces falling into place, and we're just not going to do anything to stop it. But there is a hope in the idea in that concept for me that we will do something, right? Like I like I said, I understand that part sounds really hollow in 2024, but like the idea that I'm ready to start keeping an eye out forward. I think we're all going to see it coming in. We can talk about it as a nation and figure it out. I still believe we could do that. I still do.
Yeah. I mean, personally for me, I think it kills every bird on the table with one single stone. It eliminates the potentially despotic, I want to be a dictator Donald Trump from consideration for the president if we don't know where he is, right? If he's in some black site. Joseph Biden, because he committed this atrocity as an official act as the president, I think that the Supreme Court would be like, oh, fuck, we didn't realize the scope that we were given or that he could play with this. I feel like they would immediately reverse their decision and then maybe he would get removed as well. Not that I want that to happen, but like, I do want a Democrat to win. I don't want a Republican to win. But also, if they're both taken care of by that crazy act, then of course we need to replace Biden with somebody else because now he's on trial for war crimes. And Donald Trump, we still can't find him, right? The paperwork got lost. So they'd have to find somebody else too. You would be taking the two, like, kind of queen pieces, because in chess the queen is far more powerful than the king, off of the board with an act that would be insane, would say crazy things about our country going forward historically, but it's just one of those things that, like, I can't believe that the two things happened so close together. It's like the convenience of a screenplay.
You'd be taking the queen pieces off the board as much as like flipping the table does in fact do that. You're right.
Right? I don't know, but that's it. And then the last thing that I want to talk about on this whole thing is Project 2025, something that I have known about since May and has been scaring me and had me shaking in my boots, that suddenly everybody seems to be talking about. I know that John Oliver did a whole episode on it, but the amount of time and the times I've heard or seen on social media people now talking about Project 2025 like it's new in this first week of July has been kind of surprising. Like, it's something that I've been scared of, and like, when I think about it before I go to bed, I'm like, fuck, if that happens, this systematic blueprint to disassemble the democracy and the government of the United States of America, should Donald Trump win the next election, that scares the shit out of me. And it really kind of scares me that, like, only now people are aware of it and afraid of it.
Well, I would say the general attitude out here that I have seen, and I'm in a pretty red part of the country, is not necessarily that they're surprised by the nature. They're not surprised by its existence, but rather by the like true nature of it. It's one of those things that there's a lot of noise, right? We've talked about this already in this very conversation. There's a lot of noise going on in this election and with these two presidencies over the last so many years, right? And there's this thing that, like, you get numb to some of it, or at the very least, you do, honestly, the smart thing. You question it more and more until you really see some hard evidence, right? And I think the bigger thing is that it was being mentioned before, and it was definitely out there, and people were talking about it. But the ways in which we engage with that information, with any information nowadays, it's hard to kind of just accept it at face value. And I think that there's just been a lot more in-depth look into it. Now, you know, like, take, for instance, somebody like you who was aware of it. As I assume it's because you also did some research into it and, like, learned more about it than just, you didn't just hear about it on Facebook and then you had bad dreams about it.
I heard about it and I'm like, the fuck is this? And then I went to their website and was like, the fuck is this?
Right. Yeah.
And
so I think that's the missing step, right?
Yeah.
I think we have hit the point now where more people have done that, have started to actually look into it, because, like, there's a whole bunch of shit that you hear about that either side is involved with or doing and blah blah blah, but, like, you don't take any of it in when you first hear it, and nor should you.
Right.
But I'm not one of those do your own research type guys. I am saying that we all have to do our own research, but you also have to understand who the experts actually are. Things like understanding what a primary source is and a secondary source, and, like, things like that are, and like you should do your own research, but do good quality research as well.
But then you have to vet the research as well. It's
right.
There's so much information out there in the world right now, and certainly Sejan and I, and we've gone a little bit over, and I apologize for that, but again, if you wanted to skip it, there'll be the music. Sejan and I are just two guys talking. These are our opinions based on what we have gleaned, what we have researched. But what it's safe to say is that we are in a pretty scary political landscape right now in the United States of America. So definitely be out there, read up, keep yourself informed, know what's going on, because it honestly could save your life someday. Not to be, like, hyperbolic about it, but it honestly could. Some of that stuff, like, if you've only seen the posts about Project 2025, if you've only heard us talk about it or someone else talk about it, look into it, because knowledge is going to be the ultimate power on that. And they are not hiding any of the information about how and what they're going to do should Donald Trump become our 47th president. With that, this is the Say Report. It is the show about everything, and we will be back right after this. And we're back to the Say Report. Now with 100% less politicalism. That can't be true. You can't be 100% apolitical. Let's say, like, 90% less politics. We're not actively talking about them.
As we get into the most political of topics, video games.
Yes, Sejan, we're coming back from a sabbatical, right? We took off You had your wedding. Was the wedding good? Did you have a good time?
Not my wedding, to be clear.
You had the wedding that you attended.
There we go. No, that's an important distinction to make. No, yeah, it was awesome. We were off in the woods, with no we were up in the Catskills, like closer to Canada, and we just straight up just didn't have phone service for like the majority of it and things like that. The place had Wi-Fi, but you can imagine that there were 200 people there for this wedding, all staying at this camp. So 200 people feeding off of the same Wi-Fi wasn't really the best option.
The Wi-Fi at the bar I go to every Tuesday for acoustic karaoke cannot handle the amount of people in the bar. So I can imagine what it would be like up in the woods where this is our only connection to civilization.
Yeah.
That sounds like that. Well, you know what that makes me feel? It makes me feel all right that we also kind of did not communicate since the Spider-Man episode recording. I thought you might
also
be mad
seemed
at
like you
me.
needed a bit of a break after that episode. So
Yeah, no, I have had the best time, just to be completely honest with you. We went to an arcade. Round One is a chain of arcades that, come to find out, is owned by Brunswick Lanes. So it's kind of a bowling alley masquerading as an arcade, because there's also a bowling alley there. But I just joined their online club, and all the email comes from Brunswick Lanes, and I'm like, very sneaky. You've hidden yourself right in plain sight.
I swore I'd never step foot in a bowling alley again, you bastards.
And that is, so the closest one, there used to be one in Taunton, which is about an hour from where we are in Coventry, and that place was great. Your brother and Dale went there a couple of times, really good stuff. And the reason why I liked that one specifically is they had a huge section of old, cabinet games. So as much as they're a redemption game spot, like a Dave & Buster's, they do have a straight from Japan section that was like Toho shooters, or the latest arcade version of Street Fighter. So I will say this, we're going to the one at Hollyoak. The Hollyoak Mall has a Round One. They have a little bit less of that cabinet section, though again, we were going to that one in Taunton in 2018, so the world hadn't yet become the post-pandemic, by the very nature that the pandemic hadn't yet happened. So I don't know what they were carrying in there and all that, but they do have Street Fighter 6 type arcade, which is very interesting, some of the balancing that they've done to make it an arcade game as opposed to an online game. It is a different game than the one that you're playing on your PlayStation or your PC, which is interesting.
It's wild to think about it's just wild to think about this, the arcade being the afterthought nowadays,
Yeah, yes. And it's sad, but, Dale and I got to fight each other. I won. She was mad at me because I stole her credit and, whatever. But the thing about Round One, if you have one near you and you haven't gone, they do timed play, where if you're just a regular member, $8 Sunday through Thursday, or $10 Friday and Saturday. I swear they're not a sponsor. Gives you 60 minutes of all you can play green swipe games. And the green swipe games are like shooter games, or pinball, or like Mario and Sonic at the Olympic stand-up, or Dance Dance Revolution. These are all games that
Mario
you can
Kart?
play.
They
do have Mario Kart. They
Kart?
do have the arcade GP. So it's a pretty solid deal. And for $5 annual membership fee, you can upgrade that to 60 minutes of timed unlimited play. So we did that because we're going to be trying to go to the arcade more, right? I miss going to arcades. I'm going to say
casually slipping in that you stole that credit from Dale. I heard that, Sin.
No, I didn't steal the credit. She did not realize. I sat down to play. She swiped in this machine across from me, and she didn't realize, because you're not next to each other, that they were connected to fight against each other. That it's like old Japanese candy cabinets, where the ones across from each other are player 1 and player 2. She didn't realize that. And she can say I stole her credit all she wants, Sejin. We went to the final round, and she obliterated me in round 2. I'm just going to admit it. She was playing as, is it Jamie? The character who shakes up spray paint cans and then they explode in Street Fighter 6. I don't use anybody but Ken. I'll just be honest about it.
Video games are dumb and I love them.
Yes. She caught me. She laid them out in a way that I got hit by all 3 of them and could do nothing. She just, and I hit her the first one, I'm like, frick, and then I was just stun locked as I hit the second and then the third, and then she just laid me out with a combo. Her reaction of, you stole my credit, was, I think, a reference to High Score Girl, because there's an angry guy at the arcade, and that's what he's always saying. But I think on some level she also didn't realize.
It sounds to me, man, like you pissed her off and she took it out on you is what it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, that's you know what? She got to use some of my credits to win the Crane game, because I was obsessed with the real reason we're talking about round one right now is they have a reskinned Marvel Carnival game that they have made Castlevania Marble of Souls. As Siegen, I finally understand pachinko. I finally understand gambling. I am addicted, my friend. And it is because it's one of those redemption games where you can win cards. And I don't care about collecting the set of cards to turn them in for 3,000 extra tickets, right, to use in the redemption area. No. I like that I now have Castlevania trading cards. And I almost have a full set. I just need card 10, which is Shanoa and Albus from Order of Ecclesia. Let's also talk about the fact that it's the game I like the least of the Egavanias.
Now here's where you're getting into the true secret of these kinds of machines, man, is the ways in which they fold in fan fan service and lore bits and shit like that. Straight up there, I think there's Metal Gear Solid lore that you can only get from a Metal Gear Solid pachinko machine in Japan. That kind of shit where it's if you didn't play the pachinko machine, you're not going to understand Metal Gear Solid 5. Sorry, motherfucker. And it's okay.
You all have no idea what Psycho Mantis is talking about.
You did it before. It's fine.
But it's a marble. I love it. And that first time I played it, and I only did the 5 swipes, I won cards 1 through 9 and the bonus cards, which is the Vampire Killer Whip and Alucard's Sword and Shield from Symphony of the Night. So they got me on the hook, right? I will admit that is a Castlevania game, and apparently even the ones that are mostly RNG and luck, I'm pretty good at all Castlevania games. That's what Marble of Souls has taught me. But I'm at this precipice right now where I'm do I just buy this last card so I have a full set and I don't keep spending hundreds of dollars on this pachinko machine?
Yes is the answer. I'm sorry, was that not was that rhetorical? I'm sorry, there's an answer. Yes.
Yes. So that is what I'm going to do. But it's great. So that's what we did that first Saturday. And then I was supposed to go to a coworker entered a beer design contest at a local brewery, Lops Brewery in Woonsocket, right? I'll give them the shout out. And he won, and he had invited me to the beer release party. But after that Saturday, driving to Holyoke, Massachusetts, playing in an arcade for at least 4 hours, walking around the Holyoke Mall because I was in Holyoke, right? And then driving home, Siegen, it's a good thing we didn't record last Sunday, because do you know how many hours I slept for? I don't know if you're going to be able to get this number. If you get this number, you're a witch. 15 hours. Whoa. I slept for 15 hours. I stayed up till midnight after our day at the arcade. I would also include some Pokemon Go work, because apparently this is the episode sponsored by Pokemon Go. Not really for legal reasons, but we've talked more about Pokemon Go in this episode than I think any prior episode of this Say Report. Just being honest about it. So I didn't get home until about 6 o'clock. And then I stayed up until midnight, and then I went to bed, and I woke up at 3 p.m. the next day. And that was awesome. So I am rested for the first time in a long time, which is very nice. And then, it was a short week at work, which was good. But you said you were playing some games too before we moved too far from this.
Oh yeah, I'm still plugging through Thousand Year Door. I forgot how deep that game gets. But I'm having some fun still with that. Trying to figure out what I want to spend the other. I bought that one with the voucher, right? And I'm trying to figure out what I want to spend the other half of the voucher on. But there was a fucking ton of announcements all of a sudden from Nintendo. We talked a little bit about the new Legend of Zelda, but also I somehow had missed the Mario and Luigi.
Oh, Brotherhood
coming.
or Brothership?
Yeah.
It's Brotherhood, right?
Brothership,
okay.
or Brotherhoodship maybe, but
It's Brothership or Brotherhood.
Like floating island stuff, yeah. But new Mario and Luigi, and the idea of that coming to
Switch is very exciting.
Rad. Yeah. Like there's some really cool shit coming. So,
I mean, that's what if I had to give you a recommendation for what to use your other voucher on, I would be Brothership. It's either it's either the new Mario and Luigi game or the Legend of Link.
I was
Wisdom of
thinking
Echoes.
Mario Party. The family might appreciate that. The new Mario Party is looking pretty fucking rad right now, and I know that they've pulled the rug out on us before, but
the only it is definitely Joy-Con only, which is the thing that I want people to know. It is a Super Mario Party, and the Super Mario Party brand is 100% Joy-Con only, and that is the only reason why. Like, if you're gonna get that game, go out and get the copy that comes with 2 Joy-Cons, because the Joy-Cons are free. Essentially, you're buying the game and getting 2 Joy-Cons with it.
That's good to know.
Or you're buying a set of Joy-Cons and getting the game for free. However you want to look at it, the math for it to be a game that is worth purchasing is only if you get the set that comes with new Joy-Cons. Because you
that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll buy that one and get the Joy-Cons, and then use the voucher.
Then
on Mario
use your
and Luigi.
voucher for Mario and Luigi or Legend of Link.
I'm super into the idea of Donkey Kong Returns.
I am too. Okay,
Like,
so Donkey Kong Returns, I'm a little mad at because I had intended to beat it this year using the evil emulation. Because I've never finished Tropical Freeze, but before I finish Tropical Freeze, I'd like to finish Donkey Kong Returns. I remember when Donkey Kong Returns came out, we were randomly at Walmart. It was me and J-Bro, and it was just there. Like, we did not know it was coming. We bought it, and we played through, I want to say, like 5 worlds of Donkey Kong Country Returns in that one night. And then we could never get back into it. Like, there was something magic about it. So I was going to play an emulated version of the Wii copy, but it was a little weird because you're not using a Wiimote, right? So now that it's coming to Switch, I have finished Tropical Freeze off my list of games for 2024. I'll be getting Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, not only because it is like set for a controller, but the fact that it includes the additional world that was added to the DS version. So, like, it is the most complete version of the game. I hope they add a Funky Kong mode. I don't think they're going to, but they'd be stupid not to. Because
I was going to say, that was such a huge thing with Tropical Freeze, though. That was that was groundbreaking in the number of people in my life that like know of Donkey Kong but don't play Donkey Kong games that suddenly played one in that moment. It went up about 3 or 4 people.
That Funky Kong mode was huge, and already the real gamers, right, and the YouTube guys, they're all complaining about the fact that they're gonna ask us to pay $60 for a re-release of this game, and it's like, yeah, they are, because that's how much video games cost. Right? It's not like the game was originally $30 and now they're asking $60. Looking at Donkey Kong and Mario.
There's a chance that it'll come out and it won't be worth that money, right?
Yes.
And like, if
that's
that is the
every
case,
game,
that is a legitimate criticism. But we don't know that yet, right? Like, that's the big thing for me, is we've seen plenty of these remakes from Nintendo this very year come out and be worth that money. Like, I don't think the ways in which I'm experiencing Thousand Year Door right now are eye-opening compared to it feels like playing the game for the first time again. Like, and that is nuts. And the fact that they were able to pull that off, totally worth my money.
Yeah. I mean, I watched Summer Games Done Quick just wrapped up last night, or rather this morning at 3 a.m. because I watched the final run. And the only reason I watched the final run is that it was Super Mario RPG Switch Remake. And that game, I love that game. I absolutely love that game. In fact, I think one of the reasons that I'm having such a difficulty getting into Thousand Year Door is because of how much more I like Super Mario RPG Remake. So, like, 6 months between them.
Games.
Right,
yeah,
no.
I know we talked a lot about Paper Mario being an RPG and those elements kind of coming from Super Mario RPG and all that stuff. But what Paper Mario does differently than Super Mario RPG is that it really, really, really leans into the bit, like its world, its jokes, its humor. There's so much dialogue. There's so many cutscenes, and that's just part of the Paper Mario experience for me. And it's part of the reason why when they get too gimmicky and it's not enough of that, like on the DS ones, like Sticker Star and stuff, like they don't hook me. Origami King, I think, leans into that really well too. But they're definitely in the same genre. I'm not gonna argue that. But there's a sense where like Paper Mario leans so much more on story and world and characters and jokes and bits, whereas like Super Mario RPG has that stuff, but the gameplay is just where it's at. It's why you're in a fight every 2 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, either way, I feel the need to complete both Princess Peach Showtime and Thousand Year Door before the 19th of July. Because I can't bring that baggage in with me to Twisters. No, because I'm very excited for the NES World Championships game.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like NES Remix the next level. And I'm very excited to play those games. But I want to make sure that my Switch, like, backlog is sort of caught up. Which is one of the other reasons why last night I finally finished Tekken 8. And not only did I finish Tekken 8, I got the Platinum Trophy.
Hell yeah, man. Congrats.
Finally did the story mode, and then after the story mode, I think I was missing 6 trophies, and I'm like, oh, these are all relatively easy. I feel a little bad because it was 2 in the morning when Dale woke up, like she had fallen asleep downstairs. She's like, I'm going to bed, and I'm like, actually, you're not, because I need you to help me grind out 2 multiplayer trophies right now. Please and thank you. And she did.
Terrible person.
I'm not a terrible person. If she had said no, I would have let her, but I asked, and she's like, yeah, whatever, I'll do it. And it was fun. It was fun doing that. So I feel ready to start Princess Peach Showtime. I'm very excited to play through that, and I will also be spending more time there.
What is your timeline on that? Maybe I will join you, because I have also not finished it. I've been plugging along in it, but like I haven't really dedicated much time to it, especially since Thousand Year Door came out. But maybe that's something that I can do.
Probably sometime this week I'll start it, to be completely honest with you. Like, that's
okay.
Not today. I have some stuff I want to clean up. I want to like pack up my arcade stick because I don't have anything going there, and then I have some other stuff on like in my gaming area I'd like to like neaten up a little bit. I should have used the sabbatical to get the studio in proper shape, and I just fucking did not do that. I did acoustic karaoke, and then I went to an open mic night that the same guy who does the acoustic karaoke runs at another bar, and it was so weird. It was kind of like a crossover episode, right down to the fact that the song that Dale and I listened to get psyched up for acoustic karaoke on Tuesday night ended up playing over the PA system, and it kind of felt like, oh, this is like the acknowledgement that we're from a different show, and this is either like a backdoor pilot or for this other bar. It's like if Norman Cliff went to a bar besides Cheers. And then
Patties.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the better one is that weird episode of the Tortellis where Norman Cliff wind up in Las Vegas and for some reason visit Carla's ex-husband. Like, what the fuck is that?
How come all those people from Cheers guest starred on Wings, but nobody from Wings ever showed up on Cheers? That just seems rude.
That does seem rude. It's because you bring people from Cheers to the show that is not performing as well to get the people who watch Cheers to watch that show and realize, oh shit, Wings is actually really good. Yeah, no, you're right. It's Rebecca is in an episode of Wings. Frasier and Lilith are in an episode of Wings, and then Norman Cliff are in an episode of Wings. There's never somebody from Wings in Cheers. Same with like St. Elsewhere. That weird episode of St. Elsewhere where Mr. Feeney and the other guy stop for a beer at Cheers. It's like the weirdest shit. Like, I understand that St. Ignatius is in Boston, but like it's weird that they went to Cheers and that the only person they like interact with is Carla as their waitress. Oh God! Oh, we can't do this. This is not what the show's about today. We have an important thing that we teach to the people.
We do have an important thing.
I have one last thing before. I have 2 more things before we go forward. One, I've been watching more movies, specifically Netflix originals, and one of them was Mother of the Bride. Are you familiar with Mother of the Bride at all, Sejim?
I mean, is it a like Father of the Bride Falstaff remake?
I wish. No. It is.
Okay.
It is Brooke Shields as the titular mother of the bride, Miranda Cosgrove as her child, and she is dating the son of Brooke Shields' romantic interest in college. Both of them are now single. Brooke Shields' husband passed away. Benjamin Bratt's wife left him with like his 3-year-old son, and that's it. So the path is laid for them to like get back together at their child's wedding. Mother of the Bride is kind of the worst episode title for the movie because it is like so inconsequential. But here is the problem that I have with Mother of the Bride, and I appreciate you indulging me this moment. Brooke Shields' character is a geneticist. That's her job. She's a geneticist. And I was convinced that the big twist in the movie was that Miranda Cosgrove was going to be her clone. And that was strengthened at every moment where like, oh, she fell in love with the son of the guy that she loved earlier.
So like where I thought you were gonna go, man. I gotta say.
I will admit I was pretty altered when I watched the movie, but I'm like, oh, she's gotta be her clone. Cause then there's like a bunch of fucking lines where it's like, if you're happy, I'm happy. And I'm like, fuck, she's her clone. Because like I was so convinced.
I at least thought you were gonna say like, oh, she was not hers, like she was like an in vitro baby that she just took care of, like some way to disconnect her from Miranda Cosgrove, thus removing the weirdness of our kids are married, let's go fuck.
Right. I mean, to be fair, they had fucked before their kids were married as well.
That adds to the weirdness, but that would then be removed if you put some distance.
If you did it that way, right? Yeah, I don't know.
No, that doesn't even. Okay, cool.
That doesn't come up. Doesn't ever happen. That it's never made better. I mean, to me, it's like you guys got married. You didn't even know it, right? It's not like you were raised together in the same house as step siblings.
Yeah, I can almost 100% assure you now that you've mentioned this movie, I'm going to end up watching it sometime in the next week. I am going to slowly step away from this conversation.
Love it. But I was very disappointed that the only reason she was a geneticist was so that someone else could be like, oh, we were trying to poach you as a doctor. I'm like, no, you make her. And I got to tell you, there's got to be a script out there. I am convinced there's a script out there where Miranda Cosgrove is her clone. Right? It has to be. It has to be. What a waste of an opportunity if to make her a geneticist and not make the daughter her clone. And then Mother of the Bride and all of that shit. Oh, it's crazy. But yeah, so that's it. And then the last thing I want to talk about before we get to the musical section of this, which is I'm sure everybody is waiting for after our weird 15-minute political thing, our revisiting of Mountain Dew, and now whatever the fuck this was. Jaws, right? July 4th happened, so if you live in New England, you're kind of like contractually obligated to watch the movie Jaws. And watching Jaws, you know what? It's kind of amazing that we never got a Jaws Saturday morning cartoon show.
Yeah.
That's
like Jaws didn't like show up as like a character in one of the like solving mysteries for some reason.
Yeah, it would be Quint, Hooper, and Brody solving mysteries with the help of Jaws.
Actually, you know the model for this? No
Don't
joke.
say Jabberjaw.
Go watch the Godzilla.
Oh,
cartoon.
yeah, exactly.
Like,
that's what I was thinking.
Where you're just like, how do they make him the good guy, and how does he have weekly things to do?
Right?
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was thinking about. Was the Godzilla movie, the Godzilla TV show, or also like Rambo was a Saturday morning cartoon. How the fuck you take Rambo and make that a Saturday morning cartoon? Like you just kill him, but we're not killing people. We're just playing paintball. That's just paint. The bullets enter their body and paint comes out because they're made of paint. But yeah, that was my big thought.
Rambo, famously, no recurring issues from his time in Nam, would love to be in the middle of a paintball fight.
Right? I mean, it's not that. And I think there are kids in that show. I don't know. We had a weird connection with like selling R-rated properties to kids. You know what? That's why I'm kind of bothered. I mean, we'll talk about, I don't know if we'll ever talk about it, right? Our window to talk about it has passed, maybe for the 40th anniversary. But like they were all mad that Batman Returns was like more adult. Like famously McDonald's is like, what the fuck are you doing? We're trying to sell Frisbees to kids. Why'd you make this movie so scary? But like Terminator had action figures.
Oh,
Rambo had
the
action
underestimation.
figures.
Yeah, no, the underestimation of a child's ability to take in media is like that's just as a story as old as time.
RoboCop was like G.I. Joe. the Saturday morning cartoon.
RoboCop's the one that gets me because the concept of RoboCop is so fucking upsetting.
Yeah. Yes. Yup.
But that became such a kid friendly like franchise that literally like there's like later movies in that franchise that are like PG, aren't there?
Yeah, the third movie is PG, or at least the 2 TV movies. I know that the third movie is not rated R.
But they straight up do make TV movies for RoboCop.
Yes, it is kind of upsetting as a thing. But also, the toys for RoboCop, you loaded them with caps, and then they had a switch on the back, and it made the caps go off to be like, oh, I'm RoboCop shooting a gun.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we gave kids. That's what they gave us, Sejin. All right. Anything else before we go to Say Report Summer Jams 2024 time?
Well, no, let's do it, man.
All right. So the challenge that I issued to Sejin, the last episode that we recorded before the Mountain Dew episode, the quotated report, was to find 5 songs so that we could build a Summer Jams list. The only stipulation that I gave to Sejin is that one of the songs has to have been released in 2024. The other 4, you got carte blanche. And now I have been working with this for a while. Sejin, I'd like to alternate and I'd like to start. So I'm going to do my first song, then you're going to do 2 songs.
Yeah.
Then I'll do 2.
Just a couple
yeah, okay, what's up?
couple of things I want to address on my end. First of all, a correction on my part, and I'm trying to decide what to do here. I thought you meant 5 songs and 1 from 2024, so I found 6.
Oh, no. I mean, I could... yeah, I could add another one. That wouldn't be a problem if you want to do 6.
Okay. Because I do have 6 here, and one of them is from 2024.
You know what?
The other thing is what I actually had was like 12. so I put together a Sejin's Samer Jams list that is available on Spotify at this very moment that you're going to hear these 6 songs in plus some B-sides, I guess.
Right,
but then Dev and I will kind of decide what to do with all of it afterwards.
All right, Sejin, here's the deal. Since you have a 12-song thing, you got to cut it down to 5 songs right now. You got to leave one on the bench. I'm sorry. We're just going 5 and 5. We're not keeping it as a bonus track. Adding an extra song really kind of screws up my whole plan for how this list was going to be released to the people. So, 4 songs and 1 from this year.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
It's gone. I got it.
All right, and I'm going to start with mine. This is going to be what kicks off the list. But also, I need to say, Sejin's not wrong. This was something that I was struggling putting together. So I gave an additional stipulation to myself, which is going to be from the last 40 years, 1 song from the 80s, 1 from the 90s, 1 from the 2000s or the aughts, 1 from the 2010s, and then our 2024 song. That's how I had to pare down my list. Because I had so many songs that I'm just like, no, this is what we're going to focus on.
So we'll put this all together, and you'll just have a big old summer list, which I think is actually a key point to a good summer playlist.
It's just, yeah.
Summer jams are fine, and we're going to definitely talk about some good singular songs here for a bit. But, like, overall, it's the summer playlist that is king, right? And I think that long, played out, something you can have on in that background while you're doing your grilling and chilling, like, yeah, we'll get all these together.
Excellent. So to kick the whole party off, we're going back to 1982, years before Sejin and I are even twinkles in the eyes of our fathers, before we're born, with a little song called Stone in Love by Journey.
Nice.
Okay. And the reason why it's Stone in Love is that Stone in Love has become my song of the summer. I found a podcast by a local guy, there's a couple of local guys, Mark Boschman and Mike Flanagan, called When Albums Mattered. And that they listen to a whole album, and then they talk about each song. They go through song by song, and they've released 2 episodes so far. Damn the Torpedoes by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and Escape by Journey. And Stone in Love is the second song on that album. Now, even though I've never listened to Escape, top to bottom. I was gifted the Journey's Greatest Hits CD when I got my car with my CD player. So I listened to their episode, and I didn't realize that Escape starts with Don't Stop Believin'. I've always joked about Journey blowing their wad too early with their albums. Yeah, that's what that is. That is not ED. Whatever. They fucking come too quick. Leading off Escape with Don't Stop Believin'. I don't care who it is. And even to the fact that in that podcast, which I endorse, they're not giving us any money on that, but I really do recommend When Albums Mattered if you're looking for like a really good music podcast. The Mike guy says, when I first listened to this album, the person who played it started with Stone in Love, completely skipped Don't Stop Believing. And it was probably the best thing that could have happened for this album. And yeah, right? Because I think for most people, Journey just kind of begins and ends with Don't Stop Believing. I know that might be like a weird thing to say, but it's how it feels.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
But then Stone in Love, I mean, it's all those summer nights we're calling, Stone in Love. Like, so it fits it. And it is just a song that, like, gets you going. So that is why I decided to start with Stone in Love. My personal song of summer 2024. Anytime I get in the car, it's the first song that I play, and then I go from there. And now it is the first song that you will hear if you listen to the Say Report Summer Jams 2024 playlist.
See, so like that was kind of the way that I thought about my list. Was I was trying to kind of think. I thought about maybe doing a chronological or anything like that, but then I realized I wanted to put my list in the order in which I thought that they really kind of flowed into each other really well. So I actually start off with these are all gonna be pretty chill songs, by the way. That's the other thing, is that like I'm all for like some good like Journey and some good energy pumping music, but you're gonna find that all of the music that I picked is pretty fucking chill.
I would like, can I time out real?
Slim.
Oh God, great song. Time out for a second though, Siegen. I don't mean to be Zach Morris on your ass. We all know what the Siegen's Gambit is. If you're new to the Say Report, we'll remind you into the Say vocabulary. That is when a movie trailer uses the last scene to market the film. That's called the Siegen's Gambit. Yeah. Let's talk about Devin's Gambit. And then Devin's Gambit is, first of all, this list of songs that I put together, that jerk from High Fidelity, Rob, John Cusack, whatever the fuck you want to call him, he would hate it. Because my songs, as you will see, are pretty much all built. Because my hope was, my gambit was, that Siegen could handle the chill. So you're being like, oh, my songs are pretty, like, Journey's okay, but my songs are like to chill out to. Perfection. In a bottle, slapped with a Mountain Dew logo, and named Devin's Gambit. Hot and chill. So you're on with
back to
time in
back to the 90s.
Crazy.
We're gonna go
Fat Boa Slim.
Yeah, we're going back to 1998 when we're gonna do. There was a lot. There's honestly a ton of Fat Boy Slim I could have put on this, but this one there is an upness to this one that I think is really like important for like that summer music, and there is. Also, I love the guitar line, the repeated guitar line throughout the entire one is one of those ones that just gets stuck in my head. It's like one of the first ones I learned to play on my guitar, just because it is that, and then you just do that 1,000 times. You've Come a Long Way, Baby is a phenomenal album, and Praise You is just a perfect example of like this whole era of music, this whole type of music that we very much bought into at that time. Like DJs are still pretty big, right? You know, you still get like your Dead Mouses and shit like that. But like what club music was then, and what people just listened to in their day to day, like it's worlds apart from now.
Yeah, that's excellent. That's fantastic. So then, what do you follow that up with?
Oh, I get to go.
So I'm going one, then you're doing two in a row, then I'm doing two in a row. And that it all works out.
Let's come a little bit closer to now. I'll put my
You and Me, Alt J.
What is it? You and Me?
So it's the letter U, ampersand, M-E, You and Me.
By who?
By Alt J. Alt J.
Alt J? like
Yeah.
the button on my keyboard and
Yeah.
then the other button on my keyboard.
Yep, the button on your keyboard there, Grandpa. Yeah, so Alt J, who I'm pretty sure, if I may be misremembering the exact moment when it's used. It might be in the first Spider-Man movie, but I think it's in Civil War. It's when they first cut to Brooklyn, and it's the first time that they introduce Peter Parker. I'm pretty sure that is when they use Alt J's Left Hand Free to introduce him, and. That was not the first. It was one of those moments where it's not the first time I've heard this music. It's not the first time I've heard this band, but this is the first time that this band like hits, right? And it hit me so good. So it's either at that moment or it's in the movie, the first full movie for Spider-Man, Homecoming. But in one of those two, they use Alt J as like the introduction song for Peter Parker, and it is. It gets me like right in the heart, right? And then so from that, I've just listened to a ton of them since then. And as far as like chill music goes, they've got a ton of good stuff. And You and Me is phenomenal. I think I'd be lying if I didn't say I think that they mentioned summer like in the lyrics, like it's part of, like it is so ingrained in part of the song. Yeah. So Alt J's You and Me though.
Fantastic. I'm very happy. I couldn't tell you the song right now, so I'm excited to put this playlist together and listen to it. That is what I have to say. And if you're going to be like, they mentioned summer, my next song feels like a slap in the face. Is a little song by the Light Funky Ones. It's Summer Girls by LFO. And now we get to the section of the Devin Decker music where these are all bands that I have seen live.
I know how to follow this up, but let's talk about LFO
excellent.
for a bit.
So here's what we have to talk about LFO, right? That we're going to go sad first. Dale had never heard Summer Girls before that drive up to the Round 1 arcade. And then Every Other Time, which is, I think it's a better song. I think every song that
Every
LFO
Other
has...
Time? Is that the one, the Romeo and Juliet one, Every Other Time?
No, that is... West Side Story is the name of that song.
Nice.
It's kind of like a West Side Story. She's the only... That one. I mean, every other song that LFO has is better than Summer Girls, but they're not LFO. We're not talking about them right now if Summer Girls doesn't hit the way that it does. And then Every Other Time is the really kind of gross song, is kind of the nicest way I can call it, because it has the lyric about...
the question about LFO, right?
Yeah.
I had always been under the impression that LFO was very much in the kind of the realm of like a Blink-182, where it's an acknowledgement of like pop as like kind of the machine, like they're satire, right? Like they're basically satirizing the genre while still being in that genre, right? Another good example of this is the Together, right? Wasn't that the MTV like spoof show where they actually put a boy band together that had like a fucking like Farley brother in it?
Yeah,
like and that kind of shit.
But that was like actually a parody. I'm fairly certain the Light Funky Ones. I mean,
that's what I'm asking. Is were like I had always kind of gotten the feeling that they were kind of like in on the joke. Is that not how I'm supposed to like?
No. They were very serious about what they were doing.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna go back to just assuming that they were just like trying to be funny, because otherwise their music then becomes very kind of upsetting.
Yeah, no. I think that I don't know. I mean, they're a pop hip hop band, or hip pop as I like to call it. No one else has ever called it that. They abbreviated to LFO because of an IDM act on the Warp Records label who'd been using the name since 1988 of Light Funky Ones. Jesus, what a ridiculous... How are there two people going by that term? But yeah, no, Every Other Time is the one that has one. But then I think about the time when we broke up before the prom and you told everyone that I was gay. Okay. Like, that's the lyrics where I'm just like, these guys are like bite. And I've seen them live twice. Once at the All That Music and More tour, and once they opened for Bare Naked Ladies. So, like, interesting sort of thing. That was at the 92 Pro FM Jingle Mingle. But here's the thing, is that Dale has suddenly fallen in love with LFO, and her response to falling in love with LFO was they would be a good act for The Masked Singer. That's something we talk about occasionally on the Say Report. And the answer is no, they would not, because of the 4 members of LFO, 3 of them are deceased. Rich Cronin, Brian Gillis, and Devin Lima have all passed away. The only member who's still alive is Brad Fischetti, and he is touring this summer, or he was supposed to tour this summer with NSYNC, but Justin Timberlake, it's ruined the tour, Siegen. The world tour. Oh, sorry, Hab Guy. I know you hate when I talk in memes, but now it's a challenge. You shouldn't have said anything to me. Love you, buddy. But yeah, so looking it up, Brad Fischetti, born in 1975. Rich Cronin died in 2010. Brian Briz Gillis died in 2023. And Devin Lima died in 2018. So, you think of LFO, they had this fun song talking about, the great Larry Bird Jersey 33. But they're all gone. Except for Brad Fischetti, which is weird, but you still, especially, talking about obligations, they're from New Bedford, Massachusetts, right? And they're Needham, they grew up all this Massachusetts stuff. So a lot of the references in Summer Girls hit a little bit different if you grew up in the New England area.
Yeah.
So
there's a specific kind of summer experience that you get up in that area, to the point where this is not the only New England summer song I can think of, right? Summertime in Rhode Island by what is the name of that band? Shit, that's gonna Someday Providence. Someday Providence does Summertime in Rhode Island, which was huge when I was in grad school in Ohio. It was playing on the college radio station there.
Yeah, that's not surprising. I don't know. And then this one also kind of speaks to me because, I once had a summer road dance with a girl from Georgia where the peaches grow. They drink lemonade and speak real slow. Just can't deny that that's a part of my experience. But then the last reason why I chose Summer Girls, I always sing Summer Girls wrong. And it is because of a misheard lyric that I heard when I was maybe 14 years old. I was hanging out with a Brazilian guy, a guy from Brazil, and the song came on and he was singing it, and there's the lyric, you like Kevin Bacon but you hate Footloose. That's talking about the girl. And this guy from Brazil, he's singing the song, he knows everything, and it's all good. He's got all the lyrics down. But then he gets to that line and he goes, you like Kevin Bacon but you hate Fruit Loops, is what he's saying. And that has stuck with me these many years. And it's because he didn't know what Footloose was. Footloose was not a big thing in Brazil when he was growing up.
Connected it to the only American thing he could connect it to, and that was Fruit Loops. I get it.
But it was just one of those moments where I'm just why would her love of Kevin Bacon mean that she hates Fruit Loops? He's like, I don't know.
Well, famously, Kevin Toucan Sam Bacon.
Maybe breakfast, I don't know, but it is something that has stuck with me, and the song always makes me smile when I hear it for so many reasons, and it is my second contribution to the Say Report Summer Jams 2024 playlist.
I want everybody at home to take a moment to imagine two things, and specifically in this order. First of all, Kevin Bacon with Toucan Sam's nose.
Oh,
just
already
imagine
there.
That, picture
already
that,
there.
Enjoy that. Here's the scarier thing that you won't sleep tonight. Imagine Toucan Sam with Kevin Bacon's tiny ass nose.
Move over, Project 2025. Something else keeping me up tonight.
Holy shit.
All right. So then following that up, for my 2000 song, it's a song by the band Branson, which is Brandtson. The D comes before the T. That used to be their whole thing. In 2006, rather than go to the senior supper for the University of Rhode Island Theater, me and one of the boys, and I think you heard what I didn't say there, Siegen, so that was just for you to fill in. He had bought tickets to a concert in Hartford, Connecticut to take one of the graduating seniors to, and then she blew him off to go to the senior supper for URI Theater. So I wound up with this free ticket to go see Branson, a band that had existed for years. They were the oldest guys touring with, I think, Rocket Summer. Is that a band that you know the name of?
Not that I know, but you're asking the wrong
So I don't
guy.
know. I don't remember that. But so they were an older guys. This was their 6th album release tour that they were on. And they were with a bunch of teen bands. Not just bands that the demographic was teens, but 16 to 18-year-olds were the people in the bands. So they were the opening act, and it was kind of weird because like nobody was there for Branson, and then we show up to be the guys who are there for Branson, and they play their album Hello Control, and then afterwards, like they're trying to clear up the stage, and I go and offer to help them. And so we end up hanging out with Branson all night. I get like free copies of the album. The funniest thing that I remember about this night before I share the song is that the person who took me was like, we can't go talk to them. And I'm like, I assure you we can go talk to them. It's a shitty little venue in Hartford, Connecticut. They do not care if we go over and talk to them. And if we're just genuine, we'll be fine. And he's like, it's not that. It's that Leah Stargazing is playing in the B room. And they'll think we're just here because of Leah Stargazing. And I'm like, no one will ever think that. No one will ever think. They don't know who Leah Stargazing is, my friend. They certainly don't think we're only here because of the Rhode Island band. And also, we're not going to indicate that that's the reason. All of this setup, right? This was a summer show and all of that. So all these memories is to say that my third contribution to this playlist is Earthquakes and Sharks by Branson. And if you've never heard the song, yes, you have, because it featured in the OC. And it was kind of Branson's claim to fame that their song about earthquakes and sharks being the reasons not to go to Mexico or California is like the reason that their band got that injection of popularity in the middle aughts. And I will also finish with the fact that like it's a great song. It's a fantastic song, super great song for the summer, like bump in, really fun. But also another summer story is when Snakes on a Plane came out, they called me to be like, hey, are you coming to Snakes on a Plane tonight? Like the midnight showing? And I'm like, I'd love to. You're in Ohio. And they're like, and I'm like, no, that's a pretty good argument, right? I did not end up going to Ohio to see Snakes on a Plane, but it is one of those moments where, like, sometimes you just realize how the other half lives. And that was one of those moments with Branson for me, was the day of invite to go see Snakes on a Plane with the band at midnight. Yeah. So that's that. So Earthquakes and Sharks. Really good song. Just listen to it. It's on the playlist. And Hello Control is also a fantastic album. I can't speak of any of the albums prior to that one, but that is an album that I have so many memories tied to. In fact, it's probably why I wasn't aware of the 2006 John Mayer song Gravity. And that reference is for two people who might not listen to the show anymore because they had it on with their children. And I feel like this is a weird thing to say about the Say Report. We're not safe for children. We fucking swear on this show. But yes, so thank you for listening, and hopefully you can find ways to listen away from your toddler who is, knows that they're listening to me, and I am highly imitatable and cool, much like Bender Bending Rodriguez in that episode of Futurama, where he is imitatable and cool. Sejan, what's your next song, buddy?
Someday by Sugar Ray.
Nice!
Yeah. I think especially with the hitting like LFO and stuff like that, like I think we need to go bow at the altar, right? We need
that's the time I fall in love again.
1459 is an all around fucking just rad album still. It was in our house. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure Zach owned it, probably because Zach usually owned these things, and I would just like rip them. But like we had Sugar Ray in the house, and it was one of those ones that we just like we would listen to on rotation with a few other ones when we were out and about. Like I had Green Day's like Warning album and stuff like that we would bring around our boombox, and these are the albums that we would listen to all summer, right? And so there's just like this like deep memory of like Sugar Ray in the summer for me, right? And so it's just not a summer playlist without a little bit of Sugar Ray on it. I'll be honest. And it kind of in keeping more with some of the more chill songs that I have been kind of picking. This was the one that I went with.
Nice, I like that. Of the Sugar Ray songs you could have picked, this is probably like my second favorite one. So good jobs.
Which I think is, again, I think that's kind of key for a lot of this kind of concept. A summer playlist is definitely one that you want some bangers on. I'm not saying they all need to be this, but if the majority of them can be those kinds of songs that you like listening to, can tolerate having on, but also at the same time, you're not really listening. Like that is a summer playlist to me.
Mark McGrath would be very proud. CJ, how you following up Someday by Sugar Ray?
Uh, can I?
Kick It with a Tribe Called Quest.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a big hit last summer because of its inclusion on the Mutant Mayhem soundtrack. So like there was already kind of some of that already in the blood, right? For in the ooze, as it were. So like I was so this was just already on a bunch of lists I was listening to for this summer and last summer and stuff, and so it just constantly kind of comes up, and it is one of the most like it is one of the most like not relaxing, like it doesn't relax me when I listen to it, but I can be doing pretty much anything to this beat. Like it is such a relaxed, laid back beat that like I can be cooking, I can be just sitting with my guitar in my lap, I could be playing with the dogs in the backyard, I could be, just like a little drunk and staring into the sun. Like whatever it is that I'm doing this summer, this song fits that mood. And it's just kind of it's perfect for that.
A little drunk and staring into the sun. I love it. I think that might be my new favorite Siegen quote for a while. Something about that. I can see you doing it. Which brings me to my last two entries, kicking it off with the 2010s hit that was previously only available to members of the fan club. It recently came to Spotify, and I fell in love with the song all over again. The song is Award Show Taylor Swift by Bowling for Soup. It was written by a very different Taylor Swift than the one who has completely decimated the Billboard charts with all of her releases, as she stood up and said, I'm going to record and own versions of all of my music. It is funny to look back at who and what Taylor Swift was represented as in the eyes of the music community like 10 years ago, and then to look at where she is now. One step further than that, someone brought this to my attention as I was talking about it. Do you know Brad Paisley, the country artist?
Yes.
He has a song called Celebrity, I think is the name of the song. Let me just confirm that. But in the music video, it is George Costanza himself, Jason Alexander, who is playing the character who wishes he was a celebrity. And Taylor Swift is a backup singer for George Costanza in Brad Paisley cosplay. Like that's where she was
from that era.
From like
or from 2 years ago.
From that era. The song was released in March of 2003. And like so that's where she was, cuz she's in the music video, and it's just like so weird to see her. It's like, oh yeah, no, like think about where she was 20 years ago, where she was so new to the scene that she was just like a backup singer in this Brad Paisley video.
Rad.
So yeah, it's been fun to trace it. But Award Show Taylor Swift, I listened to it this morning and it got me super pumped up for this recording. It totally got rid of all my jitters because like we hadn't recorded for a while, so like I forget how to do it. But thinking of being as excited and happy as Taylor Swift did in an award show, that soothed all of my fears. And we've had this episode. Which brings me to my final song and the song from 2024. And also, I apologize, Siegen, because I'm totally a fucking asshole. I have gone with Surf Wax America, the live recording off of the 30th anniversary of Weezer EP that was just released June 24th, 2024.
I see why now I see why you're an asshole.
It also fits because we did a playlist of re-recorded songs by the same artist, so it slots in there. We've already celebrated the 30th anniversary of the Blue Album, which is what this whole album was for, was to have a Spotify special there. Barry Johnson of the band Joyce Manor also plays on the song, so like it's a pretty kicking thing, and it's Surf Wax America. Can you think of a better song to be put on the Say Report like Summer Jam's 2004 playlist than a song about surfing that gets like weirdly serious at the bridge?
I legitimately avoided Weezer for this list because of our conversation about not wanting to inflict Weezer on one another.
Well, I kept trying to find 2024 songs. It might have been Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter. Honestly,
I was also looking at that, but I decided it didn't quite make the cut because I'm waiting for the full album to come out in August.
Fair. That's fair. I kept trying to find songs from this year that like spoke to me or that like I'd be happy if I heard at a barbecue, and none of them did it. And then I listened to this finally, and I'm like, man, like all the other covers of the singles from the Blue album on this are pretty good, but this Surf Wax America really makes this song shine. So I apologize for inflicting Weezer upon another unsuspecting group, but also it was a lot of bands that I've seen live, and I've seen Weezer live like 3-4 times. So it felt like the perfect thing for me to add. And let's hope that Siegen brings it on home with a great song to like finish this list with.
So 2024.
No pressure, brother.
This is a song that I will admit the first time I heard it, I was not disappointed or anything, but it's not my favorite. I've heard other music by this group. In fact, I've heard a lot of music by this group that I do just love. But this one felt a lot more like kind of saccharine and slow. But it has played like crazy on the radio out here. I can't stop hearing it, and it has slowly kind of built for me into like actually just a really good chill like rap song for me. Like end of the night, this is the song that I put on. Like that's it, lights out, I'm going to bed. And that is Creatures in Heaven by Glass Animals. It just came out just a couple of months ago, and it's been playing like crazy on the radio out here. And there's this kind of feel to it that feels very like movie soundtrack, right? Like it feels like it's playing in the background of like one of those like act one ending scenes, like, oh, the couple's finally going to sleep together and the lights go dim, like that kind of like moment. And there's just something about like the like kind of finality like nature of it that like really kind of rests my soul a bit. And like I said, like the first time I heard it, I thought it was like a little saccharine. I thought it was like a little kind of like mopey and like a little more touchy feely than a lot of their other music. Like for anybody that's listened to some of their other stuff, like I love like Pork Soda or Space Ghost Coast to Coast. That is like a phenomenal, like got just such a good beat to it, and like this does as well. It just I wasn't ready for them to like get so personal.
Cool. Very cool. I haven't heard it. I'm glad that I've only not heard 2 of the songs that you presented. That always feels like a risk that I run with you, is that Siegen and I are very similar in a lot of ways. Musically, we can definitely get along for, like, let's say arbitrarily, a 16-hour road trip. But we also do have very differing opinions of music and what we like to listen to on our own. That's why this was so much fun. I was half expecting a bunch of Chuck E. Cheese songs. I'm not gonna lie to you, Siegen.
No, they didn't even make the
they're done, right? They're
playlist.
phasing out the animatronics in all of their restaurants.
That just makes me sad, and I don't want to be sad in the summer. No.
You want to have fun, right? You want to be a summer of fun, right? And hopefully the Say Report Summer Jamz 2024 playlist is a lot of fun for you. As we've done with other playlists, it will be posted up on Spotify, made as a playlist, and shared for everybody to listen to. Though now that we have the Discord, and my favorite channel, which is called Devin Deca Time, Supplemental Materials, you can definitely find a link to the playlist and all of the playlists that we put together of our stuff to throw this together. So if you want to hear Siegen's bonus tracks that didn't make it to the official Summer Jamz 2024 playlist, go listen to his. There'll be a link shared there.
I'll cut these 5, right? And then I'll post the B-sides playlist in there, and then you all get to try and guess what my 6th one was going to be, which one had made that top cut.
I love it. This is fantastic. This is a good time. All right, Siegen. So I think we've done everything that we came here to do. Anything else that you want to leave the people with, or you think that this was good for us to move forward?
I think it's good to be back in the chair. I'm happy to get back to work.
Yes, me too. But also, I think a much needed rest and reflection on what the show is. We didn't talk about it, but we learned some of the pitfalls and perils of advertising with Facebook. Because we were so proud of our Do the Rainbow episode that we decided to advertise. We have a couple of more days left with that one. So next episode, we'll report on that. Also, Axel F., the 4th Beverly Hills Cop film came out. We'll be talking about that. Godzilla x Kong was released on Max. So like the 5th new Godzilla movie, not even counting -1, which is a whole other thing to talk about. There's some fun stuff that we're going to be talking about next episode and things like that. But this has been everything for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to join in on the conversation or make sure you can get a link to our playlist, you can join our Discord. Invites are available anywhere we are on social media, so Facebook or Twitter, formerly X, or X, formerly Twitter. I keep fucking that up. And you can always just send an email to thesayreport@gmail.com, and we will answer you, or we can give you an invite to the Discord right through that. And if you want to communicate specifically with myself, Devin Decker, or my host companion, Siegen Sarwick, the easiest thing to do is put our names in the subject line, and they will be sorted out appropriately. One last thing before we send this one over to Will. Adam Sandler Cinematic Universe Season 8. The first episode releases this Friday. We're finally doing our Sandler sequels season. But because we blew our wad with Murder Mystery 2 before the strikes last year, we're kicking things off with Bulletproof. And if you're not sure why, that's why we're kicking off our Sandler sequel season over on the Adam Sandler Cinematic Universe. Well, then you're going to have to turn in to find out. But with that, if there's nothing else from you, Siegen, William, please bring us home.
Thank you for listening to the Say Report with your host Devin Decker and Siegen Sarwick. Please follow the guys on Twitter and Facebook by searching for The Say Report, and you can always subscribe on your podcast channel so this is delivered straight to you and you can enjoy it every week. With apologies to your mother, we'll see you next time.